Part 1. My name is David Carter, and for 35 years I believed one simple truth. A father exists to give. Give his time. Give his strength. Give his dreams if it means his family can have a better life. I started Carter Construction with a single pickup truck, a rusty toolbox, and less than $2,000 in my bank account. Every brick I laid, every contract I won, every sleepless night I endured was for my wife, Linda, and our 2 children, Ethan and Sophie. There were birthdays I missed because I was pouring concrete before sunrise. There were anniversaries I forgot because I was negotiating contracts across the state. Whenever my children wanted the newest phone, the best schools, or expensive vacations, I found a way to make it happen. I never complained because seeing them smile made every sacrifice feel worthwhile. As the business grew, so did our fortune. We own several properties, luxury cars, and a construction company worth millions. My lawyer repeatedly warned me not to transfer everything into my family's names, but I laughed. They are my family, I told him. Why would I ever need protection from the people I love? Looking back, those words still haunt me. Everything changed the morning I collapsed inside my office. A crushing pain spread through my chest, and within minutes I was lying in an ambulance, wondering if those were my final moments. The doctors said I was lucky. It had been a serious heart attack, but I survived. While I lay in that hospital bed believing my family would stand beside me, they were already making decisions about my future without asking me. I had spent my whole life building an empire for them. I had no idea they were about to erase me from it. Here's part 2 of the story. Part 2. The doctors ordered me to rest for at least 3 months. I agreed because I trusted my family to keep the business running until I recovered. For the first few weeks, Linda visited me every day. Ethan assured me that the company was doing well, and Sophie smiled as she promised everything would be waiting for me when I returned. Their words gave me hope. But slowly, the visits became shorter. Then they stopped altogether. One afternoon I decided to surprise everyone by visiting the office. I put on my old navy suit, grabbed my briefcase, and drove there with a smile on my face. The smile disappeared the moment I reached the front door. My security access card flashed red. Access denied. I tried again. Nothing. Before I could understand what was happening, a security guard I had personally hired years earlier walked toward me with an embarrassed expression. "I'm sorry, Mr. Carter," he said quietly. "I've been instructed not to let you inside." I stared at him in disbelief. There must be some mistake. I own this company. He lowered his eyes. Not anymore. At that moment Ethan walked out of the building wearing an expensive suit that I had bought him for his first day as an executive. "Dad," he said calmly, "you should have called before coming." "What is going on?" I asked. He folded his arms. "The board believes you're no longer fit to run the company. It's time for the next generation to take over." The first few nights were the hardest. I rented a small apartment on the edge of town, a place so quiet that I could hear the clock ticking through the walls. For the first time in 35 years, I woke up with nowhere to go. But I refused to let betrayal become the end of my story. Instead of dwelling on what I had lost, I focused on what no one could take from me, my experience, my reputation, and the relationships I had built over decades. I called Mark, the first employee I had ever hired. He answered on the first ring. "Boss," he said, "I've been waiting for this call." Within a week, 5 of my most trusted managers had resigned from Carter Construction. They weren't following the company. They were following me. We rented a tiny office with peeling paint and second-hand furniture. It looked nothing like the headquarters I had built, but I didn't care. Great companies aren't built by expensive buildings. They are built by honest people. Word spread quickly through the industry that I was back. One by one, long-time clients called me. They admitted they had stayed with Carter Construction because they trusted me, not the people now running it. Soon, million-dollar contracts began landing on my desk. Meanwhile, Ethan and Linda were making one mistake after another. They chased quick profits, ignored safety standards, and treated loyal employees like they were disposable. Experienced workers resigned, projects fell behind schedule, and lawsuits started piling up. Within 18 months, the company I had built over 3 decades was collapsing. Then I received a phone call from the bank. Carter Construction had defaulted on its loans. The company was being forced into liquidation, and all of its assets would be sold at a public auction. I smiled for the first time in years. The people who had thrown me away believed my story was over. They had no idea I had been waiting for this exact moment. The morning of the auction arrived with grey skies and steady rain. As I walked into the conference hall, I saw familiar faces from the construction industry. Many of them nodded with quiet respect. Then I saw my family. Linda looked exhausted. Ethan's expensive suit was wrinkled, and Sophie avoided looking at me. The confidence they once carried had disappeared. The auction began. One by one, the company's equipment, vehicles, and properties were sold. Finally, the auctioneer announced the last item. Carter Construction, including its name, headquarters, client contracts, and remaining assets. The room fell silent. I raised my bidding paddle. Another investor increased the price. I raised it again. After several tense minutes, the auctioneer struck the gavel. Sold. The company I had built with my own hands was mine again. This time, no one could take it away. As I signed the final documents, Ethan slowly walked toward me. "Dad," he said, his voice shaking. "We made a mistake. Please, let us come back. We can fix this together." Linda stepped beside him, tears filling her eyes. "We're still a family." I looked at them for a long moment. Years earlier, I would have forgiven them without hesitation. But some lessons are learned only through consequences. I closed the folder and smiled peacefully. When I had nothing, you closed every door on me. Now that I have everything again, you're asking me to open one. Neither of them could answer. I gave you everything because I loved you. You took it because you thought I was weak. Today, I take nothing from you. You already lost what mattered most, my trust. Without another word, I walked into my old office. The walls were the same, but I was different. This company would no longer be built on blind trust. It would be built on loyalty, honesty, and respect. A few months later, Carter Construction was thriving again under my leadership. Former employees returned, clients renewed their contracts, and the business became stronger than ever. As for Linda, Ethan, and Sophie, they went their separate ways, forced to rebuild their lives without the fortune they had once taken for granted. People often ask me if revenge brought me happiness. The answer is no. Justice did. Because the greatest revenge isn't destroying the people who betrayed you. It's proving that they never had the power to destroy you in the first place.